Hey, it's Emma Romano here, founder of the Thrive and Life Foundation, self-healing coach, and the midwife to your personal alchemy.
I am Kelly Bowen, founder of the Heaven Within Foundation, CEO of Lifestyle Finance Australia, finance expert, life and business coach.
And you are listening to Inspired Conversations,
where we talk about the things that really matter. Yes, we go there.
We share together what's exciting us, inspiring us, and having the most profound impact on our lives and our clients' lives. And we do this to elevate and inspire you.
We cover it all from life, body, love, relationships, trauma healing, addictions, business, money, and all things woo-woo.
So sit back, relax,
and get ready to be inspired and laugh the fuck out loud.
Hey guys, it's Emma Romano and the gorgeous and delectable
Kelly Bowen, and you're listening to
Inspired Conversations. We're hanging out together at my house. We've got our cups of tea. You'll hear me pouring mine.
This one's warm.
It's very warm.
She's hot.
She's hot. You can tell who's the posh bitch around here. Just pick up your
Hey, this is Crystal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. It's
good vibes
true.
Going in all the way.
Do you know what this one is? This is a Camilla Disney cup.
Stop
I
it.
know. My friend Kim gave it to me and I cried.
I guess he's going on a Disney Christmas cruise.
Maybe. Obsessed. My loves, today it's going to be a really fucking juicy topic. It's about, will you explain what it's about, Cal?
So I'm about to turn 40 in less than 10 days. I think somewhere around 7-10 days. Who cares? Anyway, usually when I get to birthdays, I always love to reflect over the past year. This time I've really been reflecting over, I guess, my whole life. And the other morning I woke up and there's always been this year that has imprinted so deeply on my being that when I think about like what was the best year I ever lived, this year always comes up, and it's 2008. And what was so great about 2008 was where I gave the big flying bird to the corporates and went, you know what? I'm going to follow my excitement right now. I just finished my personal training certification, but I had also started stripping. And I was having...
Wait. Da-na-na-na. Go on.
But what had happened in that year in 2008, in me having this like huge saying yes to the complete unknown, and even though it seemed so left field, the moment that I started stripping, what happened was I had just like honored myself in terms of I'm not here to be put into somebody else's cookie cutting box. I was experiencing money and abundance in ways I'd only possibly could have dreamed of, and I no longer had wants. I could literally just buy all the things that I'd been wanting but hadn't have, and I started traveling and I was getting my first taste of freedom because I wasn't on somebody else's clock anymore. I was working for myself. I was making great money, and I was just having compounding new life experience on top of new life experience on top of new life experience. And I was starting to explore my sexuality and my bisexuality, and everything was just coming at me from all these different ways in the most delicious, divine, exciting, juicy way that there was just so much positive, like, chemicals going through my body that it imprinted on not just like my heart, but my mind, but my very being of what it was, like the very first taste of what my life was going to be now sitting here about to turn 40. And I literally woke up the other morning because every year, like the last few years, I was like, I want this year to be the year that leaves a greater positive impact on me than 2008. And I literally woke up in my bed the other day and I was like, oh my God, it's 2023. This is the year that when I think about it, I'll go like, this is the year. This is the year that is so positively impacted on my being, on my mind, my heart, my soul, my cellular thing, with so many like beautiful, happy chemicals going through my body. Like I've spent 5 weeks in Europe and didn't have to work. I have the most incredible team that's supporting me that is so aligned with my vision. Like it's our vision. We're doing things together. I have like money freedom. I have such deep, enriching relationships and connection. And the only thing that would like top this year off, like more than anything else, was that if I was to fall in love, and that's the only thing that I actually haven't experienced this year, that I've had all of these things, and this year has also been positively compounding new life experience on new life experience on new life experience, and I've had incredible people to experience it with and enrich it with, and I'm like, holy shit, now when I look back, it's not just 2008, it's 2023 as well. So when we were sitting at breakfast before, I said to Em, hey, what if we did an episode about advice to our younger selves? What would we say?
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about it, because if we give advice to our younger selves, we're also healing our younger self.
Yeah.
And we're also giving our younger selves permission just to fucking be whoever they want to be.
Right.
It's huge. Because I'm going to tell you, my younger self, I was so wrapped up in what would people think. Wrapped up in it completely. You know, I was an only child, brought up in a beautiful home, very Catholic, private girls' school, and it was all about what would the neighbors think.
Yeah.
Not necessarily from my mum, though, but more from my grandmother, more from the school. My mum was pretty cool. My mum was like, you just be who you got to be, darling. She was amazing. And my uncle was great like that too. But I was wrapped up in, how do I look? What am I saying? What would people think of me? So I didn't do much as a kid. You know, I remember, this is a story for you, right? I got a story. You want a story? I got a story for you, right? I was very, very involved in tennis. So I was a tennis coach at 16, played tennis for, you know, members of Kooyong Tennis Club. When
really fancy.
Yeah, very well fancy, right? Well, that's where I learned how to drink out of a posh cup. And the Australian Open was at Kooyong. So we were mixing. I was a little girl. I was mixing with the big top players of the world, sitting there having lunch with them and things like that. And anyway, there was this guy called David, and we owned a sports.
Does David have a last name?
Yeah,
of course you do. You can't say it on the podcast. It's funny.
Yeah.
Anything like up until the end of high school, everybody has first and last name.
Yes, yes.
After that, though.
And it was so hard for me not to say surname. That it was so
well
funny.
Done.
So we had a sports centre, me growing. I was about 15, maybe 16. I thought, God, I might have been 16. I was really young for my age. I wasn't one of those girls who was 15 going on 23. I was 15 going on maybe 12.
Yeah.
I was still playing the Barbie dolls at 15. I know, right? I was, right? Anyway, this guy, I've gone, yeah, come to the tennis with me. Because he's like, yeah, I want to go out with you. I just thought it was, do you want to just like hang out with me? We're at Kooyong watching the tennis, and my uncle and my grandmother were actually in the club rooms. So we're watching, I think we were watching Yannick Noah play or something like that. And next thing he's going, can you blow in my ear? So I've gone, he must have something in it. Right. And he goes, no, not like that. And he did like this really sexy kind of blow in my ear. I got up and I bolted. I ran all the way to my uncle, crying, going, oh my God, David, what a minute. Freaking blow. He's gone, oh my God, how old are you?
Here comes a sexual fetishist.
Here comes the sexual fetishist, right? So I was very much about what would people think, what would people say. We're out in public. My advice to younger Emma would be, don't give a fuck. Go have fun. You know, intuitively just experience more. I think I didn't experience many things because of fear of what would people say. What do I look like? And the biggest one for me was, what if I get it wrong? That was huge for me, massive for me. Like, but what if I get it wrong? What if I look like an idiot? What if I can't do it? And you can't do anything properly the first time, right?
No, you suck it.
So, and I think that for my younger self, that is something that I would be like, babe, don't even worry about it if you fuck it up the first, second, third time. You just go have fun doing it.
Yeah, learn to enjoy fucking it up.
Exactly, which I do now, thank God. But, you know, I'm 52. So it took a while. But that's one thing that I would really say to my younger self. Don't worry about what other people's perception of you are, because their perception of you is their perception of themselves.
So interesting. I love it. It's true.
It's
we
so
just
true.
project it. When we're not consciously aware of what's going on, we're just continuously projecting our reality on top of somebody else, where we're looking at I really notice if somebody has a lot of critical self-talk, I notice it because it comes out a lot in their judgment and criticism of others.
100%.
Yeah. Or it might be even out loud judgment and criticism of self, but you can also see in that it might not necessarily look like it's going outward. It could be speaking it about self, but still that is their internal perception of reality. There is a lot of judgment and criticism.
You know what? I love that you said that, because what I've learned, I'm a behavior kind of expert. Well, not kind of, I'm a behavior expert.
You are a behavior expert.
Thank you.
We're behavior specialists.
We are. And I wish I'd known back then what I know now. And one thing I now know, like say my mum and my grandmother, they're very critical of other people when they're not feeling good about themselves.
Yes.
And when they used to be critical of other people, I used to yell at them like, oh, you're so mean. You're so good. Whereas now, looking back, what I do now is with my mum, I always place a hand on her and I go, are you okay? You know, I love you and you know you're really fucking amazing. Because I know she's looking for some kind of, she needs to feel good.
She needs some love.
She needs some love. Whereas I used to yell at her about it,
yeah,
which shamed her, which put her in a trauma response, which then we were just at each other's throats. And I just wish I knew back then that it was a sign of her own internal pain. It wasn't necessarily her thoughts on other people.
Yeah.
You know, it was her own internal stuff. And I wish I'd known back then what I know now, because I would have handled it differently.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's true. It's so true. Like,
so true.
Happening is like that, you know, we want to jump on that where it's, you know, they just need a little bit more love. What if I responded to this with love? How would love show up to this right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so instead of my mum sort of gossiping and bitching about somebody, what if I just went up and gave her a hug and went, you know, you're the best mummy in the world? I mean, it would just have shifted everything for her.
Shifted everything, scrambled the pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love
what
that.
did you do, Kel?
Oh, I was thinking, so where I've been flashing back to is sort of like a time where I was coming out of primary school, going into high school, which was a really interesting time for me, because when I finished primary school, I was kind of like, you know, top of the primary school. I'd been winning all the athletic things. My brain had just kind of kicked in, and I'd been really good at like maths and
English. We couldn't have been more opposite.
Anyway, what happened? I'd also started skiing, and I'd been getting a lot of success with my water skiing and winning state championships and placing in the Australian championships, and there was a lot of promise about who I was going to grow into. Where I became really challenged was in high school, because I was spending like 6 months of the year away skiing and 6 months of the year back at home, and I never really got to establish a friend circle. And even when I was skiing, I was a little bit different from the other kids. Like by that age, I'd already experienced a lot of trauma. So, and just how that I saw the world and the things that were important to me was just like really different. And I used to get picked on a lot in high school. Like high school was really challenging, and I was such a loner. And I never really found my friendship group, and the group of people that I kind of ended up in was like the misfits. And they were ones that got into like drugs, alcohol, dropped out of school. And lucky for me that I had my sport, that I just kind of stayed out of that. But if I was to go back and talk to that version of myself, I would tell her to, you know, high school will pass. And this does really suck right now. And I know that you feel alone, and I know that you feel that every day is a battle, but I promise where your life is headed, it's going to be so rich and full of connection and love, and you following your excitement and you living a life that you're so deeply passionate about. And even though this part sucks right now, you're building so much inner resilience, so much inner courage. And it's this thing that's different about you that people don't really quite know where to place you, is actually your magic.
Yes.
This is what makes you
magic.
This is what's going to have you thrive as an adult. And most kids that like really thrive as adults, they're not the ones that fit into the molds. And you're doing such a great job, and just stay focused on the things that you love.
I love that. Do you know what I just thought of then as well? There's something that I would tell my younger self, that the magical things I see were real.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Like gifted children
Yeah.
still have
They were
quantum
real.
that have quantum access or
Yeah.
access beyond the veil, like connection to the spiritual world.
Yeah. Because I remember at 6, like I've always been able to communicate with animals. I can hear them, I can understand them, they can understand me. And I stopped it at 6 because one, it was getting a bit too sad for me because the animals tell you everything.
Yeah.
And it was getting sad, but also I was getting told that it was ridiculous. I'm getting too old to play make-believe. And I would also see a portal in my bedroom. And I would see all the little things coming in, coming out, be little fairies, it'd be little elves, it'd be like all kinds of things just coming in, coming out, not every night. It was just sometimes, and that was very busy. And I would just sit there and gaze at it. And I remember kept it a secret to myself. And I told somebody about it. And I can't remember who. I don't know if it's a family member or somebody. I can't remember. I would have been about 4 or 5. And they said, don't be silly. It doesn't happen. So I would tell my younger self, it's all true.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is true. And everything that's happening for you is happening for you.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening is happening for you. So my son Jack and I, we have this really cool game. And we go, why did we need that past for today? Right?
What a powerful game.
Yeah. So and it could be a shit thing. It could be a job that we freaking hated. Yeah. Like I had a job and I love this job, but I've always wondered, why the fuck did I have this job? And this job was, I was a private investigator in London for 2 years. And I loved it.
Such a cool...
Right?
Please take the stage.
Okay. I loved this job like you have no idea. So we were kind of underground. So it was just me and one guy. And I went in there as his secretary and just to do his invoices and stuff, but I got bored. So he started teaching me how to be an investigator, like in real time.
Yeah.
And we pulled down a massive national pedophile ring in Amsterdam. Like, yeah. So I was living in London. And I was pregnant. I left because I was about to have Jack. And I'm always wondering, like, why did I have that job? I had that job because that job, we're working with the FBI as well. And the FBI taught me how to actually do body language.
Oh, that would have been incredible.
So one of the main giveaways about body language is somebody crossing their arms. It's not protection. It's, I need a hug.
It's dysregulated nervous system.
Yep. So when somebody, crosses their arms, it's not like, oh, I'm standoffish. It's like right now we've hit a nerve and it's back to your childhood and you need comfort.
Interesting.
And when somebody crosses their arms, that's when you can go in and ask some really deep personal questions, whereas most people back off. Isn't it interesting?
That's so clever. My own with that is when I see people like touch their face when they're talking about something, usually it's like something your body's not agreeing with what you're telling me right now.
Yes. And it can also be, we can get an itch. So we can get a tickle around, especially around here. And it's not necessarily meaning you're lying. It's like, I'm going to do this to cover myself from the truth.
Yes. I see it more so not necessarily lying, but your body's uncomfortable with something you're sharing right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean a lie. Could be. And also could potentially be we're getting close to you not feeling comfortable with what you're sharing. That's
right. And so I look back on my childhood and I go, why did these things have to happen? Why did I have to go through that little course? I call them a course, right? Or that term, right? So
spiritual initiation.
Yeah. And it's all because of something. It's because now I know how to speak to these people. I know how to speak to that person. I work a lot, and this is going to make people laugh because they think, oh, you can't. I work with a lot of narcissists. They're my clients and they're brilliant because a narcissist comes in, they go, I'm a narcissist. I go, yep, okay. I go, I want to be better. Okay. And they will do to the T of what you tell them to do. So why do I work with narcissists? Because my grandmother and my father were one. I went through years of training of how to train in real time, how to deal with narcissists and how to get my way with a narcissist. Because as a little girl, you have to learn to play a game with a narcissist.
Absolutely.
Would you like to know how to play the game with a narcissist?
I would love to know how to play the game.
Tell them they're fucking fabulous and never make it about you. Never try and get them to understand where you're coming from. It's useless.
Interesting.
And you never, ever, ever shame them. So a narcissist can never be wrong. They can always be a victim or they'll always be the hero, but they are never the villain. So you never point the finger and say they're wrong. Ever. You don't have to say you're wrong. Just say, yeah, I can see your point of view. I can see where you're coming from. Thank you for sharing that with me. And then they change. The first thing you do especially if you're living with a narcissist, is tell them they're amazing. Yeah. Oh, I just love the way you do that. And you have to be specific. You can't just say you're great. You have to say why they're great. You're so great because you really made that beautiful breakfast. You're so great because, you just did that so well, and you have to name the thing. That's how you do it.
So you're feeling the supply.
Yes. So this is this game that Jack and I play all the time, is like, why did I have to go through that for today? And so there's one thing I would say to little me is like, darling, you're just at university. Universality.
That's brilliant.
Universality. So you're going through this because when you're older, you're going to have the job that you're going to fucking love. And it's funny because even this morning, I'm at Pilates and we're leaving. They're like, oh, you got much on? Yeah. They go, have you got work? And I'm like, yes. They go, I'm like, no, you don't understand. I fucking love my job. Yeah. I said, I don't even want to call it a job. So I would definitely tell younger self me, everything you're going through is for a purpose.
Yeah. And it's so true.
There is nothing that is not on purpose. Everything, even if you like it or you don't like it, it's all purposeful.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it's all important. That so much, and I love how you shared that with dealing with narcissists. Like if you have to live with them, like if they are there, and like it's such a powerful way of dealing with them. If you never want to see them again, just try the line of "I see you, and I see you for who you really are." You will never see them again.
No, they don't like that.
They don't like that.
They don't like that.
Very polarizing.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. So just backing onto that, the thing that I would tell my younger self is slow the fuck down and stop trying to get there. Not only do you get there, you go beyond there, and there's never a there because there's always a new there. But for wherever you thought your there was, you end up far surpassed that. And slow down and enjoy exactly where you're at, because you are perfectly on track. You are at the perfect point of where you need to be. And this experience, like backing onto what you were sharing, this experience is adding richness and depth and value and very tangible like resources and skills and life experience that you are needing for the next part for you to grow into the magnificent woman and being that you become. So while you're here, enjoy it. Like soak up the pleasure, the fun, the play. Let yourself feel the sadness, the grief, the loss in those moments. It's okay. You are human. Which then leads me to the next part that I would tell her. Learn to feel, baby girl.
Oh my God, yes. Huge, right? I mean, how many years did we take up avoiding and numbing the fuck out? That shit catches up, right? That shit catches up on you. Let me explain something. You can avoid your feelings. You can numb them out. They are still there. Yeah. Just because you numbed them out tonight doesn't mean they're not there tomorrow, right? We'll explain this. We did this a hard way. Years of drugs, alcohol, like just years of debauchery. It's kind of fun though. Kids, don't listen to this. It was really fucking fun.
Until it wasn't.
That's right. Because it catches up on you. So I didn't start feeling probably till I was about 45. And it was 44 years of feelings. You know, I was like, oh, no wonder I had MS. Like, no wonder my freaking body just went.
Baby girl, learn to feel. It is not heroic or glorified to be able to bypass your emotions. You are hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And what happens in you not learning to feel, the thing that made you feel those horrible things might have been gone, but you're going to keep reliving that out in your mind over and over and over again for years to come until you learn to feel it, because that is healing it.
Yes. Good advice to parents. Here you go. I've got some advice for parents.
All right, great, go.
It's the family freedom protocol. I'm all about the families, right? When you've got a toddler, when you've got a little boy, a little girl, or a little they, whatever, If they're crying, say, well done. What do you need, darling? Don't say, oh, stop crying. You've got nothing to cry about. You're only 5. Just say, oh, it's a good thing to feel that, isn't it? If they're angry, let them be angry. Just stay with them. Don't throw them in their bedrooms. Don't abandon them. Just sit there. Don't eyeball them either. You just sit there close and just say, I've got you, darling. I'm right here when you're ready. Let them throw their tantrum. And then when they finish, they'll come up, they'll run into your arms. Let them know that every one of their emotions is validated. Mm-hmm. It's valid. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be throwing tantrums at 10 or 20. Don't worry about that, right? But let them feel their emotions. Let them be okay with it. That's my big advice.
Yeah, I love that. And also ask them to name what they're feeling.
Yes.
So they can start identifying the intensity of the sensation with an emotion too.
Yeah.
That's also really going to help them.
Another great one is say, where is it? Where is it in your body? Do you feel it? Because sometimes they go, oh, it's here. That's okay. Just put your hand there. You're right to feel it. Sometimes they'll go, their hip, it's weird. It's not a pain. It's just where they feel it. And what you're doing is you're actually training the child to be in tune with their body. It's one of the greatest things I did with my boys. I wasn't like this with my boys. I was like, suck it up, buttercup. I was one of those moms until they're about 4 and 5. And I started taking them to a chiropractor. And they started getting in tune with their bodies. I was never in tune with my body, ever. Like I couldn't even tell you when I was getting my period. I'd have to put it on the calendar. And people go, well, can't you feel yourself ovulate? I'm like, no. Can you feel you got your period? No. I was just numb. Numb. You know, it's crazy. So yeah, get your kids to be, and you as an adult too, like really start practicing knowing your body. Feel your body. Feel your fingers on the skin. When you're putting your moisturizer on in the morning, don't just slap it on. Do a ceremony with it. You know, start here on the chest, open up that beautiful panel there with your lymphatic, it's a lymphatic drainage section. It's right on your chest here. Open that up and then you kind of just come up. Let your lymphatic system drain. It's beautiful. Every morning, do that every morning. Put your cream on. Bring it up to your heart. Just do a ceremony. Don't just slap shit on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I love putting my creams on in the morning.
Same.
And the smells and the textures. I'm really I love smell and texture.
Yeah.
And so I'm so particular with it. When I do it, I really enjoy it. Like even like right down to my bathroom. So everything is so particularly chosen because I am very kinesthetic by nature.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And also very sensual by nature. So these things I love them. It's awesome advice. All right. I've got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell my younger self to trust herself more. And you've actually got great instincts. The only time you are going to get yourself in trouble in the future is where you've had a gut response or a gut read on something about not liking something, not liking someone, or something feeling off about a situation. Trust it because every time it is right. And the only times where you've got yourself in situations that weren't great for you will be because you didn't listen on that first thing, or you let somebody else's opinion override what you felt as a truth. And that is the biggest fucking flex you will learn. Start now.
I learned that the hard way.
Oh, me too.
That's the night I got kidnapped in Santorini. But you know what's good? Like I had to learn about my intuition. So I was 24 and I learned very, very quickly. And thank God I did because I had Jack at 30 and I was pregnant and they were telling me to abort him. So I was in London because he wasn't growing and they thought he was going to be, you know, a Down syndrome. And I'm like, I don't care. And they were going to take me to court.
What?
Yeah, to get me because they're like a drain on the system. And he's fine. I mean, apart from the obvious, but like
a-hole. That's incredible.
You seen his bedroom? No, my
I know he's amazing. Bedroom into this.
I know. Jack's in Mount Fuji right now in Japan. He just called us on video, and he's there like coding up with his spirituality. It's just amazing. It's beautiful. But yeah, don't get kidnapped to find out that you are listening to your intuition.
Yeah,
that shit fucks you up.
Oh man, the amount of times where I've just had that pull, it's been huge. All right, how about this one? Stop apologizing. And no is a complete sentence.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't because blah, 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 just no.
No.
Nah.
And you don't have to say, I'm sorry for everything you did. It's not even your fault. Like this whole over apologizing thing, like,
Yes.
no, it's okay for you to take up space, baby girl. Start taking up space.
I love that.
You are so worthy of it.
I love
and
that.
People
Yes.
will welcome you.
Yes.
More than you could imagine.
Own your place. You are put on this earth. We own this world. And you know what? Not every sperm gets here.
No.
You know, there's
you are one in something
like there's some
a
trillion or something.
trillion.
Like it's crazy.
You're
meant to fucking be here. Own your land.
Hold space. Fill the room.
Yeah, it's
let
like
your energy out.
It's like owning a house, but only being at the front door.
Yeah, I would call it like taking your energetic spanks off. So
yeah. I love that.
Well, I didn't realize how much I'd learned to make myself small when I was little, to go unnoticed.
Yeah.
To not get picked on, to not get picked on for either because I was different or because of tall poppy, because I succeeded a lot within my water skiing career, and I was great at school and I was great at athletics. So I'd learned to make myself energetically as small as possible, but even at home, don't upset dad or whatever it was. Like I wanted to make myself so small to not be visible or felt. So I didn't even realize how much of energetic Spanx I was wearing. Wow. So I would say to my younger self, take them off, fill the space. You're magnificent. Your energy is magnetic and it radiates and it lights people up. Share that. Let the world see that. Let the world feel that.
I love that.
Yeah.
We want to know what you would say to your younger self.
Yes.
So when you see this, go on our Facebook page, Inspired Conversations with Em and Kel, and say that I just listened to this episode about, talking to the younger self, and tell us what you would say. And let's have conversations about it. Yeah, we'll answer you.
This has been such a fun episode. I feel like we could go on with this.
Same.
On and on. I've actually, I wrote this letter. So I was asked to go to a friend's 21st birthday party, and I think I might have been like 32 at the time. So I wrote this beautiful letter about what I would say to my 21-year-old self, like literally going back 10 years. And I wrote this beautiful letter. So when we post this, I'm going to post this up with it as well.
Yeah, please do.
I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the things that you would say to your younger self? Like if you were sitting in this place reflecting, what would you want him or her to know? Let's play with this conversation. We will be all over these comments. I would really love to see where this goes. It's been such a fun episode. And I feel like this is one we could probably even keep going with. So
I know.
Yeah, let's see what comes out of it, and we'll decide where we're going to go with it.
Oh, maybe we should do what would I say to my traumatized self?
Yeah.
Nearly started crying then. All right, my loves, we gotta go. We love you. Thank you so much for spending the time to listen to this. We are just here for you. We're here to inspire you. We're here to have a laugh with you, here to help you. Please message us. Let us know if there's any topics you want to talk about. We are so happy for that. It's so great.
It's so fun for us.
It's so fun for us.
Yeah.
We get to hang out.
Yeah.
I missed you, Kel.
I missed you too.
All right.
And remember, please, if you've got value from this, and you know somebody else, will please tag, share. It's how we spread the love. We're not a paid show. It is your love that makes us known and gets us seen. We love you, and until the next episode.
Love you guys. Bye.